Welcome to the Big Biz Show.
Taking care of business.
You want fast-talking, hard-hitting discussions on business and finance? Maybe with a barroom slant and some really salty peanuts? We're not counting calories. We're counting cash. Before we get to the man with the financial plan, meet the money team. Costa, Mary, and Greg. Now Captain Finance himself, Sully.
Live from the Loft 100 studios, it is the Big Biz Show. Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening this holiday season, we say happy holidays. Welcome to the show. Costa, our executive producer, Greg Todorov, and Sully.
Great to have you along today. It's a veritable sword fight today. Because of all the battles we're facing on Wall Street is, of course, what I'm talking about. Great to have you along today. No Mary Burt Godwin. She's taking a couple of days off for the holiday. But great to have you. How's it going? Did the holiday season go lightning fast between... First of all, did Thanksgiving sneak up on you? It did on me.
Oh, my God.
And then it wasn't like yesterday?
Yes. Yeah. We still have turkey in our refrigerator. It becomes dog food, but of course.
I mean, I realize, Christmas is a few days away, but it's here. It's upon us. Like, there's no time left.
Nope.
And then the new year comes. See, it feels like the new year comes quicker this year, because then it feels like there's a full week, which there normally is.
Yes.
But it's a couple days this time, because it happens all midweek.
Yeah.
I think sometimes because everything happens on a Wednesday. I think that's part of the problem.
Pretty much. I agree. Yeah.
Because you get those weekend days that you don't want to count, because we get those anyway.
Yeah.
You're right.
I just
Exactly.
feel like we're getting ripped off. Hey, Howie Font is here, of course. Howie Font is our analyst with the Big Biz Show, the entrepreneur, the man who will be president someday. And we are forming a super PAC, so we will rule the world by the time he turns 40 years old, which is just, 20 years away? Yeah. When that happens. Howard, your favorite topic, of course, is betting on the markets and interest rate changes. Is there a Fed decision in December that's going to make any difference now that we have a new administration, or do you think they'll stand pat from it? Because Jerome Powell was kind of barking about the fact that he doesn't have to resign. His
really
job
good
is
point.
in perpetuity. What do you think is going to happen here?
Yeah, so we're a day away from the last interest rate hike of the year. I've been barking about this all year, but now we're in a spot where it kind of doesn't make sense to cut, and we're going to cut anyway. So I like using the betting markets as a metric. I want to follow that for a while and see what other kind of predictions we can make.
So what website? What website is that once again?
Say that again?
What website is that once again?
There's Polymarket's very popular, and then Kalshi is the one that's legal in the U.S., and that's what we're using here. So if you see, the chances of a cut, even though the economy is doing very, very well, are basically certain, 100%.
Okay, so there's a 96%, the betting line,
Yeah.
Mike likes to say, not taking injuries into consideration. Boy, look at the inverse relationship between a hike versus a cut. The cut line, okay, the betting line on the cut is the blue. The betting line on a rate hike is the black. It's inverse. It's literally the same thing. I mean, it's almost like an inverse relationship between bonds and interest rates. And it's an even bet whether the cut is 25 basis points, percentage points, correct?
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. And so we're going to get a little cut, even though inflation's still high, even though the job market is worsening, but still historically pretty good, and the market's at all-time highs. And we have all this incoming economic activity. But I think your point about Powell is correct. Why would he want to start off a relationship with a new administration with a constitutional crisis? I mean, let's just give them a cut and see how the economy takes it.
Well, is it because you think they went too far too fast with rate cuts? I mean, they went too long. I should say too slow, too long. I guess maybe is more accurate. I mean, they should have started cutting rates a while back. I think it's almost like the
they should have started a little sooner, and then they did a double cut when they probably could have gotten away with a single, seeing how robust the economy is. And I think fundamentally, we only did rate hikes to stop inflation. Inflation's not done, as we talk about on the show all the time. What are we stopping for? And especially when, tariffs is a political strategy, but it is going to increase prices, at least in the short term.
Stand by, Howie. Does this matter to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to know if everybody's paying attention to this. I look at it in terms of what markets can do. We'll talk about what the markets can do about it in a minute.
175 countries and all the ships at sea on the American Forces Network. A special happy holidays to the brave men and women of our United States Armed Forces. Thank you for what you do. Costa, Greg Todorov, our executive producer, and of course, Sully.
Great to have you along today. And a big hello to our day trader trio boys. Can you give us a little love there right when you first start?
Hey.
Oh, that's okay.
Yep.
Great, perfect. Used to be a big old blam. Now it's, oh, yeah. It's
Christmas.
We can give you a blend.
No, it's too late. No, it's too late. That's part of the thing. Are you guys off-ramping for the holidays? Yeah. Howie Font is with us as we continue here. So, Howie, first of all, there's two fronts here. There's the economy and there's the stock market. And you hear me say it all the time. They're not the same thing. The stock market somewhat is a leading indicator, but we all participate in the economy. Not everyone participates in the stock market. What does this do to the stock market in terms of thinking what's going to happen in terms of interest rates coming up in the Fed decision? Is the Fed decision this week or next week?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
No, it's this week.
See again.
Wednesday.
Yeah. Wednesday.
Totally.
Okay, so Fed decision. So what? So buying the rumors, selling the news. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Fed has basically let the market price in the cut, so it's just going to give it the cut, and the market's going to continue to go higher. It's pretty top heavy, sure, but I still think we ride this thing like Mike and a Diet Coke and a bag of Funyuns. It's just getting crazier and crazier. Yeah.
You know, I'm just sitting here smiling and thinking, boy, it must be good to be Howie Font, and then that verbal assault comes out of that angelic
Just calling balls and strikes, Frank.
It's not slander if it's true, Mike.
He's an
it's
analyst.
Not slander if it's
He's
true.
working with data. He's just working with data.
Not slander if it's true.
Hey,
no, I mean, if you look at it, one of your best sayings, Sully, is least dirty shirt in the hamper, and that's exactly what we're guilty of. I mean, when you look at Chinese government debt, the second biggest economy in the world, and how they compare, you see a very different dynamic happening relative to the number one and number two position, the U.S. and the Chinese. I mean, our bonds have not been devalued by 1/3 this year. Theirs have. So, I mean, you got nowhere else to go.
If you think in terms of all this too, remember why this started. This started because of too much money flow into the system, going way back to the stimulus checks. You pump that much money in, going all the way back to 1940. You see rapid interest rates right afterwards, and I think we did too many stimulus checks and PPP type programs, which just flooded the economy with money. Now, let's talk about printing money. Let's talk about quantitative easing, which we are the least dirty shirt in the hamper. Everyone prints their own money to buy their own bonds and lives off the profits, and that's how economies are of scale, are run. The problem is there's got to be a tipping point. Are we at the end of the tipping point, or are we starting a new cycle here?
If you know the answer to that, you'll make a lot of money. I mean, there's a good investing axiom. If something can't continue forever, it won't. I think that's kind of the situation that we're in.
Sure.
We know it's not going to continue the song and dance, but to be honest, things like the new administration coming in, the Department of Government Efficiency pushed that date out. So maybe we're going to be okay. I think the issue is it's a balance between, are we growing a little bit more than the new money that we print? For every dollar that we print, are we generating $1.01 more? Well, then we're probably going to be okay for a lot longer.
How are you getting a sense from consumer data that everyone's going out this year, they're getting that Tickle Me Elmo, they're buying, they're getting a bunch of presents and stuff,
and the new Tickle Me Cuervo,
and the Tickle Me Cuervo as well.
Yeah, both of those together, not a good family value pack. But yes, the consumer is, especially the American consumer, is just so robust. I mean, we're willing to take on debt and spend during Christmas, and we're at record-setting numbers. Cyber Monday sales, Black Friday, all the big box stores are still doing well. Internet companies, e-commerce is still doing well. So that's an indication that people are spending a lot of money. We'll know more in about a month, but yeah, I think that's probably right, Mike.
Howie, why do we care that Chinese debt is down 33%? What does that say about it? If Chinese government debt is down, what does that say? What does that mean, number one? What does it say about the U.S.?
Yeah, so you can think of investors as evaluating governments just like they do stocks. Like how good is this government to invest in? How safe is it? What are the chances that I'm going to get my money back? And then tangential, there's also a slight tax benefit to investing in government debt, but that's not important right now.
You're talking about municipal bonds. You're talking about, of course, municipal bond funds and stuff like that.
That's right. Yeah. But if you're just buying T-bills or, T-strips, they're called, the shorter term instruments, you're going to really think, what are the chances that I'm going to get my money back when this bond matures, when it comes due? And people have basically spoken with their pockets, with their wallets, and said, I am 1/3 less likely to believe in China paying me back my money at the end of a 10-year bond versus the U.S. It's pretty stable.
Oh, I see. In terms of investing, I see. Okay. So, and where do we stand in terms of the bond yield curve right now? Because the bond yield curve is kind of an ominous curve, telling us if we're overbought or oversold in the stock market. Things are looking pretty strong in terms of fundamentals. But what about all those technical indicators like again, moving averages and bond yields and stuff like that? How are we looking market-wise?
It's so funny. It's so funny. Technically, you would say from the movement I talked about with the Chinese that they're in a recession. They're going to continue to be in a recession, and that's how investors are putting their money to work. And then technically, you watch the same thing happening in the U.S., and they are so fighting the Fed. The secondary bond market, it's actually, there's not been many times like it. And the Fed is moving rates down, and the secondary bond market is saying no. We're seeing them push up technically, like you said, and that just means that people are saying no. The Fed can tell us that the interest rate is 4% all you want, but you really need to be paying 5%, or else we're not buying anything.
Hey, Howie, is China being in a recession a leading indicator for us in any way, shape, or form?
In the short term, yeah, they could shock us. But what we should really focus on in this moment, because of everything else that's happening, is how important of a negotiating tool is it? You'd rather have your negotiating partner in a relatively weaker position, right? So I think that's the opportunity that Chinese recession presents. But yeah, there is really big spillover potential. We've talked about it on the show before. They have a deflationary economy right now. It behooves them to be really inflationary. They have an international economy, and that's going to spill over to us in Europe for sure.
Yeah. Are you guys concerned at all about economically or stock market wise going into 2025?
No. Yeah, Howie mentioned it about what tariffs might do if President Trump levies them against China, against Canada, that type of thing. So I think my radar's up a little bit more than it normally would be going into the new year.
What about just on the cost of stuff? Is that are we just used to it by now, you think?
I think we are, but with President Trump coming out and saying, listen, it's going to be harder to bring groceries down from the prices that they were during the Biden administration. But I go into Costco, there's a billion eggs on these, so I don't think we're at a shortage for anything, and the price
So you think supply is so the elasticity of the economy, which is supply demand economics, right?
Yep.
The lower the supply, the higher the demand, the price goes up.
Right.
You don't think you think we're taking a breather from supply from economic principle right now?
I think
there's
so.
still plenty of stuff.
Absolutely, there is.
So how is
So then, do you think gouging is happening? Is that what you're?
There might be some gouging on certain stuff, but as far as I don't see people running out with pallets or flats of toilet paper like I did with COVID stuff.
No, but that was but Greg makes a great point, because if it isn't coming down, there's so much stuff.
Exactly.
Then it's got to be because they're artificially keeping it high.
inflated.
Yeah.
Howie, what's your take on that?
My take is that, Mike, technically you can't have tariffs against another state in the union. So the governor of Canada is,
And I heard the governor's contemplating stepping down.
Yeah, that's true.
From
That's
his governorship.
true. How sad. How sad.
Canada. Yeah.
I think they're important points, and I think that businesses are actually taking the opportunity with inflation in the news to maybe just take a little bit more profit margin for themselves. I think that
Which is the very definition of gouging, right? Don't you think?
Yeah.
I think.
Well, they would never, they just slide it in. It's a cost carryover.
And how do you prove it?
Yeah.
Our system didn't catch up. Our system didn't reset.
Exactly, Greg. Yeah.
Hey, Howie, thanks, buddy. We'll see you in a bit.
You're the man, Hal.
Thanks so much.
I just feel, I never thought of that, Greg. You're right. Let's just take one more month of gouging you by another 7%.
He's right. Because
And then take the credit. We're lowering prices.
Inflation is in the news.
Yeah.
So what's the old rule in radio? Play the hits.
That's right. Okay. Boy, I'll tell you, have we talked about software in a million years?
No.
We're about to. Najeeb Ghauri from a company called NETSOL Technology.
Happy holidays to everybody out there who is watching and listening. We are the Big Biz Show inside the Loft 100 studios in Southern California. Hope everyone's having a great holiday season. I am Costa. The man to my right is our executive producer, Mr. Greg Todorov. And of course, behind the back, Sully.
Let's not forget the day trader trio over there.
Love those guys.
Nice. Steve Brady, our good friend, CEO of Tempest Therapeutics, joins us. He's with TPST as the ticker symbol. Of course, TempestTX.com. TX is short for therapeutics.
Is that right?
Yeah. Us in the know. Us in the biz. Kind of know that. Steve, how are you, sir? Good to talk to you because here we are. Look at he's on the beaches of Cancun.
Thanks for taking
that is actually it's just the Bay Area. Nothing about it. Sorry.
Hey, catch us up with what's happening with 1120, which we've renamed, and a number of other things here with you guys, because obviously it's pretty interesting how you have Roche in the equation now, according to your news. What's happening with the top line data since last year? I want you to just give us an overview, kind of get us caught up again, Steve. We haven't talked to you in a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me back on the show, and happy holidays. It looks festive in there. It is a great time to touch base because this was a huge year for the company and for the lead program, 1120, now known as amezalpat, in first-line liver cancer. As you know, we came out with big data in fall that was received really well. But more importantly, this year, the data that we came out with, overall survival data, look wonderful, and that's the approval endpoint globally for this molecule in first-line liver cancer. So that was a huge piece of news. And then, just as importantly, right, we have to go through a regulatory process globally to get things approved, and we reached broad agreement with the FDA and the EMA on the phase 3 to get this drug into a registration study and hopefully to patients, in the not too distant future. So it was a huge year for us.
Steve, when every time we have you on the air, because obviously we're going to talk about the drug here in just a second and such, but every time we have you in there, we talk about the phase 3 and how things are marching forward. Can you, in your position, because you've been in this position before, even guess how long it takes to get to market from where you're standing right now, assuming things go in the right direction? Are we years away? Are we months away? Are we decades away? What's your opinion?
Oh, no, definitely not decades, but not months either, right? Months would be wonderful. It takes a few years. These are big studies, right? Liver cancer is an enormous indication. Unfortunately, it's over 900,000 patients a year diagnosed, and first line, what we're going into is close to 400,000 patients. And it's, that's a lot of people globally with this indication. And so you want to get a representative sample of people from around the world in your phase 3. Unfortunately, people do not do well, right? I mean, you don't live very long when you're diagnosed with metastatic liver cancer, and that shortens the timeline, unfortunately, because again, we are looking at survival, right? Why do you go on cancer drugs? Why do you, go talk to your oncologist? It's to live longer and to live a quality life. And so we look at survival. That's what we do in these phase 3s. So what we've told everybody is we think it's around 3 years to get the data from the time we start. We expect to start early in 2025. It could go faster. right? Our phase 3 is designed to compare to the number one standard of care globally. Usually that means you enroll faster because even if you're on the control arm, you're getting the number one standard of care. And we had exciting randomized phase 2 data, which helps enroll as well. So it could be significantly faster than 3 years.
Hey, Steve, real quickly, talk to us about the drug, which is taken orally, by the way, which targets a cell. I think it's PPAR alpha or something like that. I can't remember what it was back when
PPAR alpha. That's exactly right.
And this exists in both tumors and cells. Talk about what the drug does and how revolutionary it is, because it really is a kind of a world-changing event once this thing gets to open market.
Thank you for asking that, because I've been doing this for a long time, and one of the things that was exciting when it was only 1120, when it was a pre-phase 1 program and it was just an idea, one of the things that excited us about it was that it could both target tumor cells directly because this target PPAR alpha is expressed in the tumor, but that it could also unlock the immune system, right, to be able to fight cancer. We've talked about this in the past, big revolution in cancer treatment, immunotherapies, because as you know, your immune system gets rid of malignant cells all the time in healthy people. And then obviously when cancer gets a hold, it's not doing that anymore. So that dual mechanism of action, hitting the target in different places, that was really exciting to us. And the data that we came out with in the phase 2 really support that. And that's what's rare. I had started in a program years back where you have a hypothesis about how it should work, and it's working. It looks like it's working exactly that way. We think it's going to be easy for patients to take. Like you said, it's a pill. We're seeing it work in patients with really bad immune situations. We call that PD-L1 negative in liver cancer. That's 60 or 70% of the patients. And we saw in our data that when you give a Amezalpat with standard of care, it doesn't make a difference whether you have that poor immune state. The drug looks like it works just as well.
Steve Brady, CEO, Tempest Therapeutics, their ticker symbol is TPST. Steve, when you talked about being able to get data from across the world, are there certain parts of the world where you see it in greater numbers as opposed to others?
Yes. So right now, Mike, it's in Asia, is a huge population. And it's largely virally driven, and that's passed from mother to child, the risk that the viruses are, and then the risk. But in the West, it's lifestyle driven as well as virally.
Shocker.
Right. And unfortunately for us, liver cancer is one of it's a growing cancer. It's getting worse. We expect a significant jump in it, and there are some KOLs, key opinion leaders in the space, worried now that we will see a spike because of COVID, because of what our lifestyle was like. So no, liver cancer unfortunately is getting worse. It's not getting better. So there's a real opportunity here to help patients.
Hey Steve, let's talk about the additional programs you have going on, because you got clinical development and a number of other. Tempest is not a one-trick pony. Talk about.
Well, in addition to liver cancer, right? We had really interesting phase 1 data. There's a meeting called ASCO. It's the biggest oncology meeting globally every year, and we were given what's called a podium presentation, where this is the first time Amezalpat, then 1120, was in a normal phase 1. We saw really interesting positive signals in kidney cancer, as well as a smaller indication called cholangiocarcinoma. By the way, that also all makes sense based on the way PPAR alpha is expressed. We hope to see benefit for patients there. And there's a second clinical program called TPST 1495 that's slotted to go into a phase 2 in an indication called FAP, which is a pre-colon cancer indication. And then behind that, there's currently secret programs and research. Everything inside Tempest was invented by Tempest, and we have a research group that's working on the next generation of programs.
I think the best thing that we're looking at is the ball keeps moving down the field. What are you most excited about for 2025? Because everything you haven't stalled yet since we met you.
Constant. Well, and I hope we don't, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Constant progress inside the company, both scientifically and with the team. And I know that's slightly self-serving, but it really has been, the ball constantly moving down the field. So the big thing for us next year is Amezalpat going into its pivotal registration study, first on liver cancer, and 1495 going into a phase 2, and hopefully a new program coming out that we'll be able to talk about.
The best part is every time I hear news about you guys, again, I think the underpinning message is you weren't where you were even a year ago, which is amazing stuff. Steve, can't wait to get you back in studio after the year. Have a great holiday. I'm sure we'll talk to you before then. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Steve Brady, CEO, Tempest Therapeutics. TPST is their stock symbol. TPST. That's the ticker. TempestTX.com. Good stuff. I feel better every time I talk to him.
Yep.
Me too.
More Big Biz coming up. Stand by. Loft 100 Studios, The Big Biz Show, and our affiliates and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any person, or that an investment in such securities will be profitable in general.
Given the nature of the company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for the securities, investing is highly speculative and carries a certain high degree of risk.
We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its hosts for the profile coverage.
From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stocks if we are speaking about interviewing or covering a public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer@solientgroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully and read the investor information available at the websites on the
Securities and Exchange Commission at sec.gov and or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
I like it.
Hey, is that a rescue plane?
In beautiful, sunny Southern California, it is the Big Biz Show for the Loft 100 Studios. Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, as always, we appreciate you being along for the ride. I'm Costa. That guy right there is Greg Todoroff, our executive producer. And of course, that man right there is Sully.
Great to see you today. Mary Bird Godwin taking a couple days off for the holidays.
How dare she?
Boy, something that we have not talked about for a long time is software. You don't think about software, but we live in a software-based world because all apps are based on software. All of our our communications in terms of Microsoft Word or any sort of other word processor you're using or spreadsheet you're using is based on software.
Sure.
But we don't have the stack of CDs anymore.
No.
We don't have the floppies.
No.
You don't
have
get
the mini discs.
You
don't get the AOL.
No more
CD in the mail.
Yep. No more fax machines.
Well, what was the CD in the mail about?
To download AOL or to install AOL on your
on your PC.
Your PC.
Then it was nascent when you bought a big desktop from Costco.
Yeah. Oh, it was there.
And then the other thing with the monitor.
And what was the cow print gateway?
Gateway.
That's right.
That was horrible. Yeah. You go in the store to pick your computer and then we'll mail it to you.
Yeah.
4 weeks. What? I'm not taking it home.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my God. No, we don't sell out of the store.
Right.
It's 6 to 18 weeks for delivery.
Well, that was so crazy about when I got my first Mac that everything was just literally there. It was plug and play and the keyboard.
Yeah, that was it.
Holy
it's all done.
moly.
Najeeb Ghauri is the founder, chairman, and CEO of a company called NETSOL Technologies. We had him on the air a while back. They are publicly traded on the stock tickers NTWK, as in network is their stock symbol. NetSolTech.com. We'll put that up on the screen for you. In fact, that's what you're looking at right now. But you're talking about the leasing software market, what it is, how it works, and guess who's here? We're so important that we got the CEO of the company and the founder and the chairman. Najeeb, great to see you again, man. How are you?
Well, thank you so much. I'm doing great, and after seeing you all, I feel even much better now. Thank you for inviting me again.
We get that all the time.
Yep.
Hey, let's get right into it. First of all, let's talk about the leasing software market and what it is and how it works.
Well, as you remember, when I came to the show last year, NETSOL is a leading technology company in this very niche business, which really means the world every market has a leasing finance companies network throughout the auto sector, finance sector. So what we do is we've been doing for the last 25 years. We support our auto finance companies. We call it AFC for short. And these companies are using our end-to-end solution to run their leasing finance portfolios, which basically means we are a most critical part of this whole technology, which really gives them ability to sell, lease, or finance their autos and trucks or other assets based on our finance software we have. So it really gives them ability to do billions of dollar transactions each year. The way we have connected our system with their finance company, which every auto manufacturer has their own in-house finance companies, and they depend those they use those finance companies to, of course, sell their product. So we are a key part of their business, which is a multi-billion-dollar market worldwide.
So Najeeb, my question in terms of finance companies and the software that they use, what specifically, or is it an enterprise-wide solution that you offer in terms of the services that that software provides?
Yes, enterprise solution is the foundation. I mean, you just talked about the history of big box computers and now where it is in 25 years. We as a company has also evolved. We have seen those periods back in early 90s or mid 90s where you had the big boxes computers and no more. In 25, 30 years, it's basically reduced to technology, innovation, AI, particularly artificial intelligence. So the times have changed dramatically. Well, we have seen the whole 25 years of cycle. So what we are doing is providing all the new things, innovation to our customers, right? Because as the technology has shifted in many ways in 25 years, we have to continuously rebuild our platform or technology to make sure that we are not just relevant, but you're also in the front line to make sure the customer, whether it's Mercedes-Benz or BMW or Fiat, to name few of the auto manufacturers who are using our system, particularly in Asia Pacific and US, they have the platform, they have the technology to continue to use major transactions through our systems worldwide.
Najeeb Ghauri, the founder, chairman, CEO of NETSOL Technologies Incorporated. Their ticker symbol is NTWK. Najeeb, as far as expansion into the United States, is it looking pretty good for 2025 coming up?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Just to give you one little point before I talk of the US market, which is obviously the biggest market for us, we've been doing extremely well in China for the last 20 years. I just came back from China 3 weeks ago. And now our focus is North America, particularly US. And I'll tell you what we're doing here. First of all, we have a major office presence in Austin, Texas. We moved there about 2 years ago for our business side of it. We have gathered a lot of professionals from multinationals and from the US companies to work with us. So I think North America, without a doubt, is the most critical, the most resilient market for us. Now, we planned it in a way that we became master or expert in the Asia Pacific market, particularly in China. But now US is the focus. We have right people in place. We are investing in more talent, and we are winning contracts. Just recently, 6 months ago, actually 5 months ago, we won a major new deal in the digital side, in the mobility side, which is with the BMW Financial Services in North America, pretty much all over US. We are committed to supply our platform, mobility platform, to 350 dealerships of BMW in the US. So that was signed about 4 or 5 months ago. That shows that we have serious commitment, serious ambition to do well in the US market. So this is a start. We have many other customers in the US, but this is the beginning of a major, I think, success for the company a few months ago.
Hey, Najeeb, I got to ask you about AI, because you and I have talked about this in the past, off air, briefly. About you said AI was coming, and now it is here. Talk about how it sort of intersects with what you guys are thinking about doing or are currently doing.
Well, you know, Bob, we have really invested a lot in the last couple of years. We have hired the right talent from the US, from my home country. We have set up a whole team to work on different parts of AI. What we're doing is providing a proof of concept, POCs, for our customers by using the platform, the right talent, and we know things have changed dramatically in the last few years in the artificial intelligence. And as a technology company, we're not going to be left behind. Absolutely not. So we are, I think, the front line we have dedicated team run by 2 MIT PhDs in AI working with us, and a lot of people in the US and my home country, Pakistan, which has the whole technology resource pool. So we are pretty much in line with what is happening in the shifting trend and how the whole paradigm shift is happening in artificial intelligence. So I think we are, as still a small company, we have made considerable investment to make sure our customer has all AI features.
Well, and it's clear just by looking at press releases and such that you folks have realigned your expenses so you can maximize success in North America now that you're moving in the same place. I want you to come back on with us, Najeeb, because we never get enough time with you, but I'd like to get you in studio at some point. His name is Najeeb Ghauri, founder, chairman, CEO of NETSOL Technologies. Well, I'll tell you, it's interesting. Could you imagine if he takes over all of that automotive market in North America, like he did in China?
350 alone just for BMW?
Yeah.
There's more than BMW dealerships.
Nice work, Todoroff.
Yep.
This is the Todoroff find. I think they actually contacted you. I'll give you the credit. More Big Biz Show coming up. Stand by.
We are in sunny Southern California inside the Loft 100 studios. It is the Big Biz Show. Coming along during this holiday season, Christmas quickly approaching. Costa, our executive producer, Greg Todoroff, and of course, Sully.
Great to see you today. 125 million TV homes strong across the country. Every weeknight, and that's not to mention Bloomberg El Financiero. Bloomberg EU, which I anticipated starting before the end of the year. Looks like it's starting on January 17th, which will be interesting. So you stinky Europeans, we're on the way. Yep. See you in a minute. I have to say that this year, the last 4 years have been the democratization of surfing. Rick went, while we were recording our last album, to Waco Surf in Waco, Texas. And this whole time we heard about this place in Palm Springs called Palm Springs Surf Club, but it didn't occur to us that it was the same sort of thing. And here comes Mike Costa, eating some Funyuns, dipping them in mayo, thinking, you know what, I should try surfing sometime. Or maybe I'll just start bellyboarding instead. And comes up with the notion of having the CEO, the chief navigator at the Palm Springs Surfing Club coming there. His name is Michael Hung, and he joins us. And I got to tell you, we've been so excited about having you guys on the air. But if you look at just the website, look no further than right in the middle of the desert, the high desert in California. You've got a surfing wave. Michael, thanks for joining us, man. Good to see you.
Hello, good morning or good afternoon, gentlemen. How is everything today?
Great to see you. So listen, the interesting part of this is I call it the democratization of surfing. Now we're bringing surfing to everybody in the U.S. and internationally, not just the coast. Talk about that a little bit. How did Palm Springs Surf Club start?
The surf club started with a group named the Pono Group. They are just a bunch of core surfers that are coming from the coast of California, and they had an opportunity to build a surf pool out here in Palm Springs. The property at the Palm Springs Surf Club used to be a fully functioning water park, so they've retrofitted the park as well as the pool to create a great surf pool as well as an incredible resort with restaurants, a lazy river, bars, cabanas. So really beautiful property.
Chef Hong, you look at your resume and all the incredible, very, very famous restaurants that you have worked at. How did you end up at the Palm Springs Surf Club?
That's an interesting question. I honestly did not know that the surf club existed when it first opened earlier this year. And then I met with the owners early in the summer, and they toured me at the property. And it was, it's a pretty spectacular property. I haven't really seen anything like that in my career. So I was really excited to come on board and be a part of this project and bring some real vision to the food and beverage operation.
Hey, Michael, so talk about the technology for the wave for a second. Is it how long do the waves last? Is it rights and lefts? How many people can go? Is it a private session? Is it all public? Give us a little idea.
We have a very advanced system. It's got 16 motors that use pneumatic pressure to lift and drive down the water in the pool. And because of the way that all of these 16 motors are set up, we're really able to create an infinite number of waves, or infinite variety of waves. We just have to, the Surf Patrol, one of their favorite jobs is testing and creating waves. So they're in the pool playing around with different settings. Right now, I believe we have about 20 waves that are programmed in, from anywhere from intermediate level all the way to the professional surf level. We have waves that run all the way left across the pool, all the way right. We've got a center break that splits out. We call that the A-frame.
And is the bottom geometry like a delta? Is it like a reef, or is it all done through
It is formed so that it does mimic a reef. Yes. So the center is a little more shallow than the outside of the pool.
Right. And is this freshwater, saltwater? Is it a combination of both, or?
It is freshwater. Yes, we have freshwater. It's chlorinated. We've got all of the sanitation systems. Up and running.
Greg's question is when we go.
Yeah, Chef, let's address the 800-pound gorilla in the room right now. How can I get these three out, not only to enjoy your culinary delicacies, but to get them up on the wave? I personally go to the beach, and people call Greenpeace and try to roll me back in the water. These three can actually surf, so that's my goal, is to maybe give them an early Christmas present and say, yes, you can go out and you can try the wave.
If you guys are interested, you've got my contact information. Let's get on a phone call. We'll get you out here.
We got our national TV. Talk about some events you guys have coming up there. You have events actually going to the Surf Club.
Absolutely. We have a large property. It's 13 acres, so we can hold plenty of events in many different venues. What I'm really most excited for is, of course, New Year's Eve is coming up, and we're doing a big bash. We're doing a prefix family style service dinner, which is going to have all of the high end stuff that you would like to see on New Year's, as well as a sparkling wine toast. And then afterwards, we've got an incredible DJ party that's going to go all the way into the night, as long as the cops let us go. Our DJ is actually a former, I believe, professional surfer. Her name is Sam Blackie.
Oh, no kidding.
So really excited to have her come to the property.
So, you bring up musical events. Musical events are starting to show up at all these surf clubs, or not, surf ranches and Waco Surf and such across the country. Are you planning on bringing some musical acts here coming in 2025 to sort of round out the entertainment out there? Because it seems to be a perfect fit.
There's so much opportunity for different types of entertainment. So I think you're correct. It's such a great fit with the surf pool because, just as an example, we've done activations with Golden Voice, where we hosted a mini concert during Coachella, and we had the surfers going in the background, and just the whole backdrop of the event was perfect to speak to both the desert, to speak to the youth culture, and also to speak to the core surfers who were really involved with it.
Hey, last question. So you mentioned water park. So Palm Springs Surf Club has got a water park itself, along with the surfing. Talk about that real quick before you go, because that's a big part of what you guys do.
Yeah, we have a pretty incredible park. In addition to all the other things that we're doing, we have 3 adult water slides, 2 baby water slides, an amphitheater that seats 1,200 people. We've also got an island pool with a full-service bar and restaurant, and then a lazy river.
Full-service bar and restaurant, Mike. So Mike is coming with us after all. Michael Hung is his name. Michael, I hope you'll come back with us. We're going to bring cameras next time.
Yeah,
Mike. Go out there and hang with you.
God.
I expect to see you guys soon in the new year.
Thank you, buddy. Michael Hung's his name. Name of the company is Palm Springs Surf Club. Can you get that? I know we're doing day after Christmas.
Oh my God!
There.
I know we're doing
We are doing a show the day after Christmas.
Big Biz show to go. Mike will be producing from the belly bar out in the middle.
Do whatever you want.
That does it for us. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow.